All right, guys, today we got my man Darren from Family Brand. Shout out to the whole Friendly team. We appreciate you guys coming on First Smoke of the Day. And shout out to the whole First Smoke of the Day family. Appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you run the comments up. Let us know what you want to see more of. Let us know which brand needs a featured episode next. And make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. And if you want a featured episode like my man Darren from Friendly, then reach out to us at family@firstsmokeoftheday.com or hit us at the DMs at First Smoke of the Day. Let us know you want a featured episode. We'll get your brand exposed to thousands and thousands of people, and we can't take everybody, so you must apply and you must be accepted. We have to make sure it's credible, and then we'll introduce it to our community. We appreciate you guys. Also, growgeneration.com. If you haven't already, use the code FIRSTSMOKE10. It's over 60 stores nationwide, or you can just go online. They also do delivery for any big commercial grows. If you wanted to come straight to your door, they can handle that as well. And if you haven't already, just know everyone's switching to drip. Switch to drip hydro. We'll give you a free test run. Email us, family@firstsmokeoftheday.com, or DM us, and we're gonna get you hooked up with some drip. What else, man?
What else is fsotd.com? Merch, ashtrays, limited First Smoke of the Day gear. Also, if you want to see the 3 tiers, if you want to keep up, if you want to get ahead, get way ahead on podcasts, fsotd.com. We have so much stuff dropping constantly. Also, Dr. Dabber, one of our premier sponsors. Something we use all the time is the XS. That's what I'm using. Packs on the white Evo. Dr. Dabber, the code is First Smoke. It gets you a discount on all Dr. Dabber products. Go on fsotd.com, check out all our affiliate programs where you get discounts with all the people you see on the podcast, sponsors, all that. fsotd.com.
And make sure you get on the free Discord. It's on the website. We'll be in there weekly. Meet us there. Let's get into it.
That's really how we got our start, was working with Connected like super early on. Being at Hall of Flowers is more for that, but the energy this year at Hall of Flowers was crazy. But I can't give you gold out of old material. But then I think the next time my partner went down there, when Chaz went down there next, he had synced up with Graham from Glass House.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's First Smoke of the Day. We're back again with another featured episode, number 5 today. We got a special guest in the building. It's your boy, Pat Godds. I'm here with Blackleaf.
You already know.
We got my man, Darren from Family Brand. How you doing, homie?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
What
doing
up?
well, doing well.
Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, sir.
He's always talked about you guys, messaging back and forth on DMs for years now.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's always cool. You put a face to a name and get to link in person. I know we met at the Doja event formally.
Yeah.
So,
fuck, when was that? Like a year ago?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Bro's been putting those on for a minute now.
I know.
It doesn't seem like it, but that shit's crazy.
No,
it's cool just to get everyone together in the same rooms.
No, it is. I think that's like one of the main things I saw with what Doja's been doing over the last couple years now has been dope, because he's really been getting his face out there and building his brand, like ground floor, fucking popping up, letting like people that really fuck with his brand, like that smoke the brand or want to come like engage, they have an opportunity to interact with him. So I thought that was really dope. And when we went into like this whole rebrand as a business, it was really like, we've been doing community stuff with like local businesses, and like I've been going to stores, training bud tenders, talking to fucking everybody, you know what I mean? Going to farms, sourcing shit. And it's just like wanting to figure out a way to bring that whole community together. Fuck, my mouth's hella dry after smoking that shit.
Yeah.
You got some waters over there,
that
buddy,
good
right?
stuff, dude.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But
what you been smoking on?
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, we really smoke over here.
Dude, so I always used to smoke flower. And when my partner came to me with Friendly back in 2017, I had a delivery service, so he was vending to us, and or he was vending to me. He always come, we'd talk, chop it up, smoke, and I got bad asthma. Like, I don't know if it's from smoking like Bay fucking perps or fucking Bay platinums or whatever the fuck, but like that industrial like PGR'd out weed, like hardball shit we used to call hardball, thinking that shit was dope, but it was like, fuck, dog, we're smoking cancer sticks in this motherfucker. Like,
had to grind it twice.
Yeah, man. So I don't know, dude. I remember just getting like smoking blunts with my boy Kyle out in Fremont, and every time after I would smoke, like not every time, but I would have times after I would smoke where I'm like, fuck, it's hella hard for me to breathe. So I kept smoking flower. Obviously started smoking like shit that ended up being cleaner. Started learning more about like the market industry, like what's good weed. Started growing, like learning how to cultivate through like a friend of mine out in Humboldt. And just started like learning more about like what's acceptable and what's not. Like what's one of the PGRs, dog? Fuck, I can't think of the shit.
It's all like general names.
Sure. Yeah, you know for sure.
Yeah, right. You know what, bro?
You know about those.
Just
PGRs,
to give you something funny, just to tell you something funny. When I first came out here, when people would say load or PGR, I thought they were talking about a product called PGR.
Oh shit!
So I'm always like, I swear for like 2-3 years, I'd be like, so it's PGR. I didn't know it stood for plant growth regulator. Yeah. So for people that don't know, the big one that everyone in Cali's on. And not because I use this, I've never in my life sworn on a Bible ever used PGR in my whole entire life. But phospholode is like
that was the one. Yeah, that was like the one that was out. It's still out there.
I don't know, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I would hope not. Right? But
yeah, I know. There's a lot of guys that still use it across the whole country. You know, if you're doing over 3.5 a light, 3 a light, you start hearing people say shit like that, and they're really pulling it.
It's not like some old school sour or some shit, you know, that you're growing for 12 weeks, 12.5 weeks.
Yeah. They're growing haze sealed in 5 a light.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, but where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah, so grew up in Sacramento, been there like my whole life. Was living in Miami a little bit back before like legalization, half the year.
Sac's like one of the meccas for weed.
Oh yeah, man. There's so many brands from Sacramento, bro. Like I know at this point people should recognize whatever, but that's really how we got our start, was working with Connected like super early on. Like this dude Larry, I reached out to their Instagram because we saw them pulling down a bunch of fresh frozen. They were like harvesting fire ass weed like Gushers, and they had forbidden fruits. Back then they had this shit called Nice Cream. Now and Later. Before Nice Cream, I'm tripping. Which was like grown by this dude in Sac. Are you familiar with that strain? That Now and Later?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, that shit was
I drove to Sac, bought a clone and drove back.
Did you?
When they did a clone drop, I literally drove up, grabbed the clone, turned around, and drove all the way back down.
Yeah, that shit was pure candy, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up like picking up a bunch of stuff from them, did some collaborations with Connected like super early on. And that really like just floored us and started getting us like going. Like we became a brand in October 2017. We started this business as like Friendly Farms, the extraction company. My partner started Friendly back in 2006, just cultivating greenhouse in his garage, fucking different indoor spots. And but when he came to me in 2017, it was like we had an opportunity with he had an opportunity with a big grow in Santa Barbara, Buellton, whatever, Lompoc, I forget the city that they're actually in, but anyways, out in Santa Barbara area, that they just had a ton of flower. And it actually ended up being Ash and Kelly from Elite Gardens. So that was like the first farm that we worked with. We just got a bunch of trim, and like shit was like not that great back then. You know what I mean? Like it just was what it was. But then I think the next time my partner went down there, and when Chaz went down there next, he had synced up with Graham from Glass House, and that was like our first fresh frozen drop. So like we were talking about that, but like we literally like Chaz met him from the jump. But Chaz was the first person to bring me like from his garage grown indoor, like a sauce product. So it was like, it wasn't necessarily fresh frozen or live resin back then, because he hadn't like harvested it and frozen it within 30 minutes. And like, since we became a brand, that was a big emphasis that we put on like us having live resin, was that was the thing. Like live resin was just coming out in 2017. Like it wasn't like it is now, where it's just common knowledge to know, well, live resin is freshly harvested plants frozen within 30 minutes while the plant's still alive, ideally harvested at nighttime or in the dark. So like you're preserving the terpenes and the essential oils of like the living plant. Like people didn't really get that shit. You know what I mean? And now I think that they still don't really get it. Like the education level and the like general knowledge about like cannabis in
Game them up real quick.
The legal industry is, or legal market is just crazy. I mean, fuck, I don't even know where to start. Like if I was to start to try to educate and talk about like what is on the shelves and like what is really what it is. Like I could say that my product is CO2 and nobody's going to tell me that it's not, right? Like you could say whatever you want in the legal market and in any market, but like the integrity of like who the brand is, and where like there's this oversaturation of brands in the state, but it's like, who are these cats? Like, what do they do? You know what I mean? Do they even grow their own shit? Do they extract their own shit? Do they like source their own shit? Like we don't grow our own shit. That's why we went from Friendly Farms to Friendly, or from Friendly Farms to Friendly Brand, because it was like, I didn't want that association with the farm, although we source and work with farms. And our biggest thing is building relationship and bridging the gap between the farm and the consumer through extraction, and us being like that middle ground. Like we didn't want that association of like farms with the name, and everybody that knew us would talk about us like, oh, that's friendly, that's friendly. So it's like just one word, boop, that's it. You know what I mean?
I like that anyway.
Yeah.
Just the name Friendly puts a smile on my face.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And what it is, you know, just to open the convo with you, is that it's different solvents, whether it's ice and water is a solvent, or whether it's butane, hexane, propane, CO2, all these are different forms of basically that strip the plant of its essential oils. There's so many different methods, but it's like the product that finishes out of all of them is different, even with the same strain, same grower, same material. Each way will come out different. And so it's almost like a preference, right? Like how
it is. Yeah. I mean, from live to cured, from resin to rosin, which are like just live and cured, just speaks to like what the starting material is, right? Whether it was like freshly harvested, then frozen, that's our live resin, or live rosin, whatever, or cured, which is just cured flour. That for us, when we get cured flour, it's all about freezing it after it's been cured to like really give you the expression of like what you're smoking right there, right? And just some gas, like some fire ass weed that was cured properly. So it's not about what's better. Like for me, I prefer cured resin. So resin is going to be a solvent. We use a solvent. We use hydrocarbon to extract the oil, which is BHO is what we're using, right? So what we love about that is that it's going to be the most gentle on the plant. And through just extracting at extremely cold temperatures, you're going to solidify all the fats and waxes and strip the plant of all like the cannabinoids, terpenes, all the other essential compounds found in the plant that are going to give you that same experience. And so that's what I was talking about earlier, actually, when I was like, oh, I was smoking PGRs and have fucking asthma and shit. Like, this is all I smoke is friendly now. All I smoke is cured or live. I prefer cured just because the effects that I get from smoking it resembles what I've been smoking my whole life, right? And the flavors. But speaking resin and rosin, to get back to like process and shit, rosin is used extraction method of heat and pressure. Resin is going to be used with a solvent, different gases, like you said, propane or butane, whatever.
Bunch of different ones
or blends, right? A lot of people were doing blends for a while. That was something I was always telling them. I don't extract myself, right? I understand the concepts of what it is. I mean, essentially we're taking cannabis, putting it in a metal tube, putting extremely cold gas, which turns into a liquid in this column, filling it up at a cold temperature enough to like solidify and turn like as cold as possible, right? I think we're at like negative 60 C or between negative 60 C and negative 80 for temperatures. And that's just going to solidify all the undesirables, the fats, the waxes, chlorophyll, all that shit.
Yo, family, if you want to know where to get all the dope exclusive merch you see us rocking on the show, go to shop.fsotd.com. It's free shipping on all domestic orders. We're trying to hook up the whole family. We want you guys to rock the merch and show us you're a part of the family. All the ashtrays are on there, the lighters are on there, the trays are on there, the Stonewash hoodie is on there, the Family Ties tee is sold out. You should have moved quicker. And also,
yo, tag us in photos. Let us know you're rocking the merch, you're rolling up on the tray, you're watching firstsmokeoftheday.com. Let us know how you first smoke of the day. Hit us up on Instagram, First Smoke of the Day.
And what's nice is then you can separate and take out some of the harshness or some of the parts that you don't want to smoke.
That's the difference between resin and rosin. Like when you have rosin, like for me, I love the flavor of rosin. I love to like experience that, but it still does affect like me when it comes to just like whatever, my breathing and airways and shit just get clogged up because of those fats and waxes. And there's still like some of those impurities, but those impurities are like the pulp. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that like true flower experience. So like my middle ground and where I'm at with it is like cured resin is what I'm smoking because it doesn't affect me. The high is like just my shit, and that's what I stick with, you know?
You know what? It's interesting because like I have asthma as well since like 2 years old.
Yeah.
But I find when I smoke vapes or dabs, it makes it act up worse than if I smoke high end flower. So I just smoke joints for the most part because it's feels lighter on my lungs. Whereas if I hit those, like, I don't know, I feel like I start wheezing and shit.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Everything that we push on as friendly is like, find the strain that works for you. It's not about indica sativa hybrid. It's not about whatever. And you guys talked about like different processes and how you could process it a different way and it's going to be different. Fuck, bro. I could give you a clone from the same mom and I can give a clone to the homie down the street and you guys are going to grow it in your environment and you're going to harvest it when you harvest it. But that environment is going to create a different experience. Even if you fed it the same shit, same newt, same timeline, same everything, it's a different environment. So everything is always going to be different, right? So that's where when we talk about educating customers, like people are always like, oh, what strains do you have? What indica sativa hybrid? I'm like, one of my boys I grew up with DM me the other day is like, yo, what would you recommend for pain? I'm like, fuck if I know, dog, just fucking try indica, I guess, because that's what everybody will say, right? And I know when you talk about strain DNA, that directly correlates to like the terpenes found in the plant. Like, so it's kind of like find your flavors. With our rebrand, we really wanted to put on the package like what the flavor profiles were that were like, let me see. Talk about it. Let me just see here. So like jet fuel gelato, we got flavors of gas, vanilla, ice cream. So something that like a consumer could understand. We got the little emojis on there to help them understand like this is what you're looking for. If you like vanilla or gas or ice cream, right? Like there's going to be other flavors that I got, different gelatos or sunset sherbet or whatever have some of those same flavor profiles. So it just helps help the consumer decide what they want based on those flavors and then based on the effects that go along and correlate with those flavors. So,
which the background of that is like myrcene, limonene, you know, all the terps that go into
all
it.
those words that like
the different
we fucking
effects.
don't know. It's like, fuck, dude, I ain't never bought some food and been like, let me get that fucking linalool terp fucking fruit snack pack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
has to be relatable.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Sacramento?
It was dope, man. I like I mean, it's crazy because Sacramento has went through so many different changes. Like I'm 32, right? So even before I existed, you know what I'm saying? Like Sacramento was like a cow town to the core. Like there was nothing there. Wow. And now it's like, I mean, I don't know when last time you guys went to Sacramento was, right? When's the last time y'all went? I mean, you got to pick up packs that are used to pick up some type of
We were just up there late last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doing the tour with
Dave and all. Preferred and a bunch of people. Yeah.
But you guys hit downtown while you were there?
Yeah, for sure.
Dope.
Food spots, you know.
There's hella food.
I like Sac.
Sac really like.
They got a fucking Kimpton now, you know what I mean? Shit's popping off up there.
It is. Since we got the arena in downtown, that brought a lot of like love back to the city and like a lot of culture to the city. I mean, because growing up there, like all we had was the Kings. Like, bro, growing up, I used to fucking like damn near cry when these motherfuckers would lose. Like that's when we had Jay Will and Chris Webber and Vlade Divac and Brad Miller, which Brad Miller got into cannabis and he had hit me up. So I've like linked up with him, which was cool because I'm like, that's dope that I saw you playing basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan. Like that's the one sport that I've been able to keep up with for the most part since like business, right? Like I've always been in cannabis, like always owned some type of business since I was 18. But the crazier shit gets, it's like harder to keep up with anything current or anything outside of this world that we're in. And especially with like where the market is in California, it's just like, if you want to survive, dog, like you got to really, this is all you can do. You know, when my partner came to me with Friendly in 2017, I had a delivery service. I had 70 employees up and down the state. We had just lobbied the state for non-storefront delivery licenses. Like I was really like in this shit. Like I had a hub and Sac. We took all the calls for the whole state. Like I was fucking changing SOPs, meeting in the governor's office, like helping write regs for like how to operate a delivery business in the state. and go, like, I learned everything I learned about business through that, and then through Friendly now, because I touch every aspect of, like, and every layer of what we do as a brand, and as a manufacturing company. So, but yeah, man, they don't put respect on manufacturers as much as, like, growers. It's just not the same. I don't know why I said that, but I'm just saying, like, that's what it is, right? Like,
dude, don't go after the growers, man.
Hey, I'm definitely not doing that. When I go after growers, I'm like, hey, yo, Dave, what's good? We got a collab with Preferred coming soon. Like, that's going to be super dope. But, like, I'm all about fucking with the growers because, like I said, dog, like, I love smoking flower, but if I can't smoke flower on the regular, how am I going to get my fix? I got fucking P41 and snacks. I got all Drew's new shit from fucking Green Dog and Turtle Pie. We got a collab with fucking Matt coming out soon. That's going to be fucking sick. But yeah, dude, I'm always on the hunt to find, like, new terps. And that's, like, the thing. Like, we collaborate with all the, like, pioneers from the space. Like, we're the guys in California that came up with this liquid live product, right? Like, a single extraction without separation. So to go back on, like, editing guys gonna love this shit. Bring it back to the extraction one time. The whole thing with back when we became a brand, we were making all sauce. That was, like, the popular shit, right? And then one day my partner hits me up and he's like, yo, when you get to the spot, we got to show you this batch of oil that didn't crystallize. It just, like, was stayed liquid. It had been, like, a week. And luckily we were, like, keeping track of the way we were doing shit. But, like, when I got back to the lab, we had just some empty carts. And I'm like, well, fuck, throw that shit in a cart. Because through the delivery service, bro, like, and smoking flower, but buying carts have always been super popular. So, like, sourcing Kingpin from down here, or fucking Shatter Tanks was one of those brands back in the day. Brass Knuckles, fucking whatever, Absolute Extracts, the Clear, right? Like,
Flavor,
all this shit that wasn't real weed. You know what I'm saying? Just, like, all this, like, fucked with oil, right? So, like, we've been making sauce. We got fucking M backed up in, like, bulk sauce. Like, I got hundreds of pounds of, like, fire ass live sauce. And I'm like, fuck, throw that shit in a cart. We tried it. And we were just like, yo, this is liquid live. This is going to be the newest shit. I told Billy and Chaz, I'm like, yo, let's not make any more sauce. We only need to make this. Billy's like, dog, are you sure? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, bro, we got mad sauce. Like, when we started making sauce, we were making diamonds initially, and people didn't even know what the fuck it was. Like, nobody was fucking with it. They all wanted applesauce. Then we started making applesauce. That M that I had in bulk shit, all applesauce, like, no diamonds. Like, and now everybody wants diamonds. Well, once you're applesauce, you can't bring it back. You know what I'm saying? So, like, so I was like, fuck it, dude. We're done making any type of concentrate. Like, vapes are where it's at. And if we have a vape that is weed in a vape, then let's fucking blow it up. So, like, that's what we started making. They reverse engineered, like, that process, which is essentially was just a curing process, where the oil solidifies or stays liquid through that process and never goes to crystallization, which is that decarb. And once I realized that, I was like, well, fuck, we can be a brand that offers a strain experience and introduces new consumers and existing consumers that normally wouldn't vape into a vape product. And you can be, if you're from the flower side, you can experience your favorite flower strains from your favorite growers through Friendly. That's kind of like the whole thing. That's why we do so many collaborations, is to, like, give people that experience, because I want that fucking experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fucking smoke every cart before it goes to the market. We fucking try this shit internally with a team of 10. We fucking go through a whole process to make sure that, like, because before it was just me and everybody has different preferences. So, like, before, when I'm just the only one smoking this shit, it's like, okay, word. Well, if I like it, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to like it, right? Just like you might not like the way you feel on it. But at the end of the day, getting that terp committee together was super important. And, like, when we rebranded, it wasn't really like just, oh, we want a new look, we want a new name. It was like, we need to highlight the focus about what we do that makes us unique in the marketplace, and tell that story of, like, from consumer to the farm it was grown, right? Like,
you're conveying a message to your consumer from almost like a thought of like single source where it's like, here's the farm, here's the processor, here's the product.
Experience it in vape, experience
it
in tincture, experience it in fucking FSO. Like FSO is the most versatile product we have. Like you can add it to your edibles. I mean, it's a great value add. Yeah,
a lot of people don't even know what that is.
Dude, FSO is like, I mean, RSO was a process that was with alcohol. It's a lot harsher on people's stomach. And they're like digestion wise, it just is not ideal. FSO is just our same oil that goes in the cartridge, that same like hydrocarbon extraction process that has filtered out all those undesirables is now like this. I hate saying the word pure, like when you talk about the oil, because then you think like you're separating shit out or
more refined,
filtering or refined. I hate all those words because I'm just like, we're juicing it, right? Like that's kind of what it was. And I hate that word too for other reasons, right? But I would say when I talk about what our oil is, it's just the most authentic representation of the cannabis that we extract. So no matter what the strain is, no matter what the type of material is, whether it's fresh, frozen, or it's cured, or it's fucking those are only two shits, but no matter what it is, like we're going to give you the best out of that. But I can't give you gold out of old material. I can't give you like brown fucking overgrown shit. Like it's all about harvesting the shit ripe with an amber eye and the fucking trichomes. That's like what we want, right? When we talk about for extraction, I know cats used to like pull early. And so we've never focused on like the color of our oil as much as we focused on like which strains are going to taste better, harvested at what point, right? We want to be able to create and have the most authentic experience for the customer. And when we talk about just the different products we have, we want to be able to share those different flavors through different delivery methods. So the FSO is the same thing from the cart, long story short, and the tincture is the same oil from the cart and the FSO, just mixed with MCT oil. So like organic MCT oil. So that's like something you could cook with. FSO you can cook with. Just different preferences for people and shit.
I like that because I almost think of like RSO, because it's usually extracted with alcohol, as something you'd want to use topically and not ingest.
Yeah.
Like you say. And then this is something that you can ingest, and it's going to be a more pure substance extracted without the alcohol, which is harder to get out from my understanding. And less pure than some of the BHOs out there. I mean, a lot of people refine the BHO before they even run the BHO. So there's like, I feel like if people dove more into that process and explained it more to the consumer, it'd be more appealing. Yeah. Because when you see it done and you see it done right, it's such an impressive process. And I like all wax. I'm smoking rosin right now. I like every form. I love the plant. But to see the process happen, it's cool. It's appealing. It's interesting. It shows you how pure. It shows you just the whole process. It's not, obviously taking it to distillate is a whole other thing, but the actual extraction process through live resin and live extraction is epic. Cured extraction. It's a cool thing, and it just needs to be more open to the consumer. I feel like it's hidden behind doors a lot.
There's a lot of like misinterpretation about like what that extract is, and like that being not good to smoke, right? When you light a joint, you're inhaling 1,000,000 ppm, right? Like, but when you have oil that had any butane in it, which we actually test everything in house, we have a residual solvent gas chromatograph in the lab so that we can test at the facility. We don't do any of our own like pesticide tests yet, but we have been discussing that too, just to like, it's all about like speed to market, just like everything else. Like we want to produce the amount that we need for as short of a window of time that is possible to still like promote it and get it out there. But we want to be able to like tighten that window. Cause I think for a while, like we all got in this space of like just creating too much product for the market, not really understanding like the demand. And that's like one of those learning curves that we have to go through as like small business owners that like are just in the market, and fuck, we're just getting excited. I'm pulling triggers to buy shit just based on the fact of like, yo, I want that shit. I want to be the only one with those flavors, right? So like locking down fucking whole farms or like specific strains from like big batches of specific strains from whole farms so that we have something like unique to share with the consumer. You know what I mean? And just because I'm a consumer and I'm like, fuck, my headiness is getting to the fact of like, can we really afford to like cop all that shit? You know what I mean? Right now. And how long is it going to take for us to really like move through it? So I'm excited. So again, like circling back to like the rebrand, that's a whole nother approach to like, you know, the Terp committee, the new approach to business, like how we want to operate, who we're sourcing from, how those partnerships go. Cause like we've done like 20 some collabs at this point. And like when we collaborate with different farms, it's all about like, how can we add value to what you guys do? Because like, I respect your craft. I respect the shit that you grow. I love the quality that you grow. How do I get your brand into places you're not? You know what I'm saying? Like, and how do we now build hype on that so that people give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, there's not really much respect on like, people aren't like, oh, lining up for fucking vape drops. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, why not? Because ain't nobody doing that shit right. You know what I mean? Like if you were going to collab with people like Terp Hogs or fucking Ball Family or fucking whoever.
My dog, you know what I mean?
Doja, of course. Yeah. So like Doja or Preferred or fucking whoever, like that's like our main
people gonna line
initiative.
Up.
Yeah, exactly. But if the story's told, if the hype is there, if like
it's got to be authentic
about it. Yeah, exactly.
They won't do it if it ain't. So
but that goes back to like,
that's why people line up.
That's what I love about Ryan, bro. Like what he's done is he's given people access to like the brand.
Has.
You know what I mean? And like him being the brand is like, come try the new flavors. Like come fuck with us. Come meet fucking EK. Like shout out EK. I've been fucking with EK for fucking a minute. I've known Ryan since it was back in the day in Sacramento, bro. Like he had a delivery service out there. And that's how me and him initially clicked up. And then he just started really pushing from like Doja to like the brand Doja. And now it's like to see what he's done on like a worldwide scale is fucking epic. You know what I mean? So shout out Doja. But yeah, I mean, the approach to the business with the rebrand was like, we want to create an exclusive experience for consumers, but make it inclusive so they can be a part of it. So like, that's really where we want to put people on the front of the box. We wanted to be able to engage with the community. We have this whole like Friends with Benefits program that's like consumer facing and bud tender facing. We used to send
what you did there,
bro. You like that? A little pun action.
With the bud tenders too, huh?
Yo, so if you guys didn't know already, everybody's switching to drip. Terps are a really big deal in today's market, but most importantly, so is the flavor. So everybody's switching to drip and feeding their flavor. And if you want to switch to drip, reach out to us.
Family at firstsmokeoftheday.com. Let us know. I want to switch to drip hydro.
We're dripped out. We're right here, our favorite place to go. You know, where the pros go to grow, at Grow Generation. Over 60 stores nationwide, either in-store or online. Use our code
FirstSmoke10. Family, get online if you're shopping for grow goods, FirstSmoke10, or in-store anywhere in the U.S.
Tell them the First Smoke family sent you. We'll see you there. Yo, we got a gift from Dr. Dabber. It's an excess.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I can gift.
Dr. Dabber, come on, man. The homie. Big things right here.
For sure, bro. We used to send samples to stores all the fucking time.
We love bud tenders too. Shout out to all the bud tenders.
Right. Shout out to the bud tenders.
We love you.
But we used to send samples to stores all the time, and like stores get blown up with samples. Like oftentimes you go back to have a meeting with somebody like, yo, motherfucker, you're sitting on all these samples. Like we sent you this shit for your staff. So you tell me your shit's not selling. Why? It's not selling because your staff hasn't tried it, right? When I'm on the floor and I'm talking to fucking Joseph and fucking Mary and Susan and fucking Kelly or whoever the fuck, like, and they haven't tried the shit. It's like, dog, we're investing as a small self-funded business in getting the bud tenders an experience with the brand. And so this whole program was like, if we open a new door, I'll send samples to the shop. If you've been a retailer carry-in friendly, you got to sign up to the program. You sign up to the program and ask them like, what type of strains do you like? How do you like to consume? Like, let me learn about you. I ask them their favorite fucking snack, like favorite candy bar, right? Like maybe we fucking do the event. We have these bags with samples that are specific to that person. And now they have the best experience trying Friendly for the first time. Like I went to a store in Richmond and I asked a bud tender, I was like, yo, like you guys been carrying the product, shit's been moving pretty well. Like, but I always ask them like, what's your favorite brand? And like going in enough stores, asking people that question and hearing like answers like, oh, I like this platinum vape fucking gelato cart. And I'm like, the fuck? I was like, you smoke flower though? They're like, yeah. And like, we're talking a distillate, like added terps cart compared to like when I asked them, oh, do you like the sample I sent you? And she was like, no, like I don't like Jack. And I'm like, well, fuck, that's what this cart was that I sent you, right? It was like Jack Terps, old school haze terps. And so I'm like, when that happened, I was like, that shit clicked for me. And I'm like, that's never going to happen again. Like if you get a strain that you like from us and you don't like it, you maybe don't like that strain, or it's a different pheno, or that's just what it is, right? But when you talk about like, you liked a distillate cart that was a gelato because you like gelato, so placebo kicks in, and those terps are probably similar. They're probably limonene terps anyways. You know what I mean? Like that shit probably tasted close to the Jack cart that I gave you type shit, you know? But that misrepresentation was like, we want to make sure that when we're giving samples to our staff or to the retailers that we work with, that they're experiencing the brand based on their preferences, and that they have an experience that like, that's gonna help us win every time, you know?
Got to give them one of each flavor, big dog. You know what I mean?
One of each product, if that's what they like. That's what I'm saying. Like if somebody gave me an edible, or even like the tincture, I started fucking with the tincture lately, but like FSO, like miss me with that shit, bro. People will do like a whole syringe and fucking like, they're just on a sick one. Like I can't do edibles. So like if I was a bud tender and I'm getting edible samples, I might just not take it, not even give it to a friend. So like, that was the whole idea, is like we wanted to make sure that what people wanted, they had access to.
Your goodie bag has your name on it.
And you get it off site, bro. We're not sending it to the store. Like come fuck with us we did a pop-up event. We're doing like pop-up events. So our pop-up events are at like local businesses throughout the state. So we've done one at a Friendly Tavern in San Diego. It's like a burger joint. They got a couple different shops out there. We've done 2 different events there. We've done a couple events at this spot in Sacramento, old Sacramento, called Serialism. We have this event coming up on June 2nd with Frankie's Pizza. But like, these are all just small local businesses, right? So like, that's the main initiative that we're pushing right now, is like getting the events popping statewide. So that we have one in OC once a month. We have one in Long Beach. We have one in fucking IE. We have them in LA. Like, and people can come fuck with the brand. I'm going to those fucking things. Like, my team is there. Like, we're a super small team now. This market has been like strangling motherfuckers right now. Like, stores are slow, distributors are fucking up. Like, it's kind of ugly as far as like, as a brand working.
You got to educate people. That's the main thing too, that's why they wouldn't know the difference between fake gelato terps and real gelato terps. You have to educate them that like, this is actually essential extracts, a solvent extract of like the essential oils, not being played with or not being distillate and added back.
No additives.
Yeah, we're not fucking with it. That. And it's now like what a lot of companies
that's
do.
Important. It's kind of like with food now. You know, people want to see organic.
Exactly. The consumers are more like educated on like what we're consuming.
You know, some people need to go in there and make sure it's dairy free or like, whatever. So you got to make it easy for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk about the oversaturated market. What are some things you're doing to stay alive during these times? California market.
Fuck. That's a loaded ass question, because like for us, like that's why
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, for yourself. Tag God's coming soon. Nah, but I mean, I would say just getting our face out there more. Like, we had to tighten up our team a little bit, which is never fun, I guess, to like be, but it's a part of business, like inflate to deflate, and like make sure that you're staying as lean as you need to. And I think we got a little like comfortable for a little bit and weren't looking at the things that mattered. And so like, that was a learning experience. But where we're at now, I guess the biggest thing is just making sure that every step along the supply chain is like understanding about where we're at as a market, right? And making sure that like we have the ability to give access to the consumers at a price point that's going to make sense, because the state is way overtaxed, right? Like the the stores are getting hit with mad taxes. The fucking growers are getting taxed. The fucking extractors are getting taxed. Every step of the line we're taxed. And then there's not really a business that has the logistics shit set up to where like distribution costs 2%, right? Like you're talking like 10, 15, 20%. Some of these cats are paying 25% like to get their product sold and distributed. So like we've always sold our own product. We had a little year hiatus where we went from like a third party, more of a transport style business that we were distributing with to herbal. And now we're working with Cannabis, but working with herbal was rough, man. I won't really go into depth on that shit, but like, you know, we lost about 60% of our revenue by like working through a distributor that's job was to sell the product. So we went from like 230 stores to like 450. Well, that 230 was being supported from like top bottom. You know what I mean? So like, that's really where we're refocusing our energy now, is tightening up the relationships with the stores. Cause like I've been telling my team, is it's like, we could sell to stores, no problem, but how does it sell? And are we aligned with the partnership with those retailers that we work with? Is our fucking product on the menu? Is it visible? Like, are they pricing it properly? Like, there's just a lot of aspects to like being successful in this market. And so,
yo guys, I know we're watching my man Darren with Friendly Brand's episode right now, but we want to take a quick second to tell you where you can find him and learn more about the Friends with Benefits program.
Yo, what up guys? Come check us out on Instagram at Friendly Brand CA or the website at Friendly Brand USA to learn more about our Friends with Benefits program for bud tenders and consumers, where we do pre-release events for new collaborations that are dropping and new product releases and local events throughout the state. So come check us out. See y'all soon.
Keep it friendly. Let's get back into the episode.
And if you can't support all your shops with the team you got, but you also aren't doing enough sales to like sustain that, then it's like, we got to look at who are the good actors, because this state is also is being ran with a lot of retailers that just don't pay their bills. And it's like, sometimes it's like their fault, but it's not even intentional. It's like the business ain't doing that well. They don't really know how to run the business like lean enough to like keep that shit rolling. And so that's our main thing, is just tightening up the relationships and getting more in the community. Like when we do collaborations, we want them, they'll be a part of these activations with us too. And that's like a part of us working with the farms, is like, look, at this point, we need to work together to like push a hard line on getting out there and like building awareness for the brands, for the product, so that when it drops, there's excitement and there's hype around it. Right. So that's one of the main things, trying to get like the apparel side popping too. Like I had a streetwear brand when I was like 20 years old called the Ruffians. And like, so getting back into that whole thing, and like with what Friendly is like, it's limitless. Like there's no limit to what this rebrand, the way that we created it, and like what Friendly is as just like a term, and just like how it can be applied to fucking every aspect of life and just like every move that we make. So yeah, man, I'm excited to like really just get the brand out there. We've been in different states. We saw y'all in New York for 420. Like Cali this is like home and shit, but like other markets are in a better place. The black market is definitely playing a role and a toll, and like you can get better flower for the most part on the streets. Like we're in the vape category, like anything you buy on the street could be dirty as fuck, right? That's like the thing. But when you talk about flower, like people ain't growing with PGRs anymore, right? Like people are growing like really good weed, but they can't survive in the legal market because you have to have economies of scale to really like survive. You know what I mean? And like, it's crazy. We've been working with certain growers, and it's like, fuck, we used to pay, you know, X amount for some to, let's say, $100 for a pound of fresh frozen. Well, now you can get that same shit for $40. Well, guess what? Like with that price difference, it didn't cost them more or less to grow unless they change their whole business model. When you talk to indoor growers, it's like the shit, the electricity bill didn't go up, the fucking nutrient cost didn't go up, your fucking rent didn't go up. Like, but you do or don't have the economies of scale, and you are or aren't paying attention to like your finances. Dog, we came from like the trap. We came from a market where it was like, I buy something for fucking $1,000. I flip it for 2 bands. I made a band, dog. Like, that's just what it was. Like it's not and I'm paying my rent with that money. Like I have no other overhead. I'm not paying Weed Maps fucking $10K a month, which I'm not, but I'm just saying if I was, like, I'm not paying all these other fucking Salesforce, bro. We use Salesforce to keep track of like all the accounts. As a brand in this market, dog, like you got to work with every retailer to like what their process is, right? So like you have to really like work with these cats the way they work, because if not, you're not going to accomplish shit. So like there's no standard operation of like 7-Eleven and fucking Ralph's and fucking Publix and fucking right? All these cats, they have systems in place, inventory systems, and like they have the economics worked out where they're just, orders are coming. There's not like, you're not working
Sales
your ass off. Yeah, they're just happening based on sales.
And
yo, First Smoke family, if you want to know where to get all the most exclusive stuff done for your brand at, smoothtrades.com. Use the code FSOTD and they're going to take care of you. Fast turnarounds, low minimums, and they know what they're doing. High quality products where we get all our stuff done for the podcast at. Grinders, trays, rolling cradles, all types of the new things that are dropping. Go check them out. Tell them the family sent you. They're going to take care of you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and those brands are what? They're focused. They're not like at the fucking grocery store pumping their packs. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not pushing a hard line on like the new disposable that Friendly dropped right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just there, and the brand gets to focus on the shit. And that's what we thought was going to be the deal with herbal, is like, oh, it's going to sell, but the state doesn't have, there's so much oversaturation of brands in the state. And for what reason? I don't know. I was at Hall of Flowers. We got a booth this year. For me, it was important because I like to like touch all the accounts. I like to know who we do business with. I want them to know, like, look, if you don't pay Friendly, you're just not paying me. This is how we eat. We're a small business. We're fucking fam. We've been in this shit forever. Like, that's the type of representation I want. So like being at Hall of Flowers is more for that. But the energy this year at Hall of Flowers was crazy. That shit was dead as fuck. Like California, I mean, fuck, for 420, where were we at? You know what I'm saying? Like we weren't in Cali. Like all the Cali kids were in fucking NY. And NY is a cool market. Like, I don't know, from a business standpoint, like, because this is where my mind is at right now, is like Mass is a dope market. AZ is a dope market. New York is way underdeveloped right now. New Jersey is like 40 stores open right now. It's like, those are the markets that make sense, and they're all close. But those are the markets that make sense because they don't have the problems that California has. Everybody is like trying to build a business here because it's the Mecca. It's like the motherland of cannabis. But it's like, yeah, but you know motherfuckers that grow. Your cousin grows, your brother grows, your uncle grows, your fucking grandma grows, your mom maybe grows. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your daughter fucking grows. I don't know. But like, I mean, we all know people that, that's what I'm saying. We all know people that have weed.
Cali's always been a farmer state though, too.
Yeah.
Like that goes generations back, you know?
Exactly.
So it makes sense. But
sure.
yeah, you gotta go where the wave goes. You gotta go where the waves are. If you surf, you go to different spots over the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know where the different breaks are happening. You know what I mean? You don't just get to sit in Cocoa Beach or some shit and like, ride in some barrels and shit. Like
exactly,
it ain't popping like that. You got to go down to Costa Rica or, flex around. You might have to go here, there, wherever. You figure it out. And that's what it's all about, in my opinion. So you got to be boots on the ground. You got to be in the scene, and you got to be with the movers and shakers.
Yeah, you got to be willing to
people that
move.
are forming the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever the stomping grounds are, or whatever, like that's where you got to be. And right now, what we're seeing is that it's not going to hack it if you just plan to be a California brand.
Yeah,
that you need to be an MSO at this point and to be considered like a global brand. Like I was talking to Doja about this, and he was like, "Man, I don't even like saying I'm a California brand anymore."
Yeah,
because it's much more than that. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's a global brand, global demand. That's why he does that, and it's like. That is more so where the pioneers, the people who have been doing this shit, that's where they're going to go now because it's now a global market and it's opening up globally. You know what I mean? And all these other places. So you're going to see more import export. You're going to see more things go down. It's going to open up. It's just really about getting to that point, staying alive until it gets to that point.
That's
so that
exactly,
you can be one of the first out the gate and be like, okay, let me establish all these relationships, all these hands I've been shaking, all these, people I've been catering to or whatever. This is when it pays off.
Yeah.
And scaling while keeping quality always.
Yeah. And like, you said it. It's not about flooding the market with product anymore. That used to be the thing because that was the issue. That was the problem being solved.
There was never enough.
Not enough, right? Now, way too much. We've topped off and teetered to the top of like, oh shit, like what's the plans for all this? Oklahoma, prime example. That's kind of, I think, what pushed us over the top, in my opinion.
Was when that opened up?
Yeah, just like everybody's like the timing, how quick they did it, how low the cost was, how low property is, like all those correlations.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's getting PPP money, like all these times, right? And it's like that just kind of went crazy over, you know, definitely over the pandemic. We saw, you know, things just start flooding in, right? Because that's was another thing that stroked it was like signs of like, oh, we need more. Everyone's panicking, all this fears in the air, you know? But now it's about drops. It's about collabs.
It's about limited access,
having events and meeting people in the community that are going to the fucking shops. So they actually come and pull up and you show them some love and shit. You know, it's about all that, right? And so, billboards don't work anymore. Magazines don't work anymore. TV's disrupted. All these things are happening at the same time too. It's kind of crazy how that.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, people are lazier than ever. Their attention is so short. They're not paying attention to much of anything. They check their phone 100 times a day. So you have to figure out that formula and figure out that equation of like, how are you going to exist in these people's worlds?
Yeah.
And how do you make it make sense for them to choose you in a land full of choices? That's the problem with the whole game right now. You can burn 5 dudes and still go to the 6th man and get whatever he's got.
Well, that's the thing is create.
And that's the same thing with the retailers. Well, we're not going to be able to pay them, but don't worry. We got the other ones coming and shit.
That's what retailers
that's what
do
it is
shit.
all around the board, right?
No,
like we're seeing it on both ends, you know? So it's now just a time to like stay true to you, be authentic, be genuine, and collab with people that you feel are a good value exchange. You can exist in each other's worlds. And then doing the groundwork and getting around and touching as many global markets and domestic markets as you can.
No,
you know, it's like rappers. The smart rappers tour middle America all the time because those people come out to shows and shit. They don't got a million options at their, you know, disposal.
And it's not the same cats that are there any day of the week. That was the thing about being in New York that I was like, man, y'all could have had like artists that aren't here all the time, but instead like you've got the cats that are just like here, which is like cool from like a cannabis culture standpoint, right? So like involve that community, but at the same time it's like I was talking to Smokers Club about this because when we do our collab, I'm like, yo, I want to bring like a West Coast artist to NY, do like a drop out there with like apparel, whatever, right? And then in California do the same thing, but have artists where like each coast isn't familiar with like being able to have access to that artist, right? Because it's like, but like you said, I think the key there was create limited access for the shit that is. If everybody has access to the same shit, if you create limitations to that and you have a good enough product and you have a brand that's doing all those things, that's like executing on that formula, then you have an opportunity to win, right? So like that's what we're really looking at is creating that opportunity. And not only that, but it creates exclusivity and like gives the retailer a reason to like really push because you need like that partnership. Otherwise it's like, if you don't have that, then you can only do so much. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, no, I agree with what you say 100%.
I like this because also a lot of strains don't yield. So let's say you're a rosin smoker, just for instance, right? A lot, like 75 to 80% of the strains out there don't yield. It's not something that you can smoke. So to be able to have an option with like Gelato 45, like all these signature strains that cookies, you ain't getting cookies hash rot. Like, and if it is, it's like, it's a great option to be able to smoke essential oils straight from the plant and also have an option for strains that you're not going to get in other ways. Like a lot of these strains that you have, like we're smoking old school super lemon haze. You're not going to, I mean, you're not going to find that other ways, right? It's the same with a lot of these strains.
That's the exotic, bro.
Fire.
That's the exotic shit.
Tastes great.
All the old school shit, that's the exotic shit. We're
that's
talking
hard
about
to
like,
get,
how do we get some green ribbon? How do we get fucking like original like sours even? Like fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what happens if it doesn't yield in other forms of extraction?
Well, rosin is the only like, that's the one that is just like super hit or miss, right? But that's where doing BHO, we do rosin extraction now. We haven't released anything. Like honestly, like the concentrate market is like is extremely rough. That's the second or third worst like revenue generator for the state. Like it's like a 3 to 5% somewhere up in there. But there's the second
Concentrates?
most. Yes.
Across
we didn't
the
know
board?
that.
Yes. In the state.
Even
Yes.
like rosin,
Bro, all of it.
All
Yes.
concentrates.
In the legal market. Yes.
What's the? Can you go? Do you know the
Dog,
stats on?
fuck, I don't have it on me like that.
Just
I know
a
flour,
estimation.
vape,
Hey, Jamie, can
fucking
you,
what's
flour
flowers,
up?
edibles.
Flowers. The
It's gonna be
first
like
one?
40%, yeah, of the market. Then vapes, like we
What's
predicted vapes would be way higher than they are. I don't know right now where they're
20
at,
or
but it's always
30%?
like around 20 to 30%.
What would make up
yeah.
the rest then, though?
Edibles, pre rolls, fucking
Flour and
medicinal shit like tincture, all that stuff.
So
like
40% is flour.
That's the main. But it's like all the stats
Allegedly.
are so skewed, right? Because if everybody grows the same shit, like that was another piece of like inside like the box, we have a QR code that people can scan and they can tell us like what they thought of the product, like what they thought of like, did the flavor taste like what it said it did? Did you like the effects? Just different questions to like understand. And what are some strains that you would like to see from us, right? So it's like, right now, the market is determined based on what's accessible to them also, right? So like, what is the access that people want? When I've been going to these like events in the field and shit, and I'm asking people like, what's your favorite strains? Like cats are still saying shit like cherry pie, AK-47, cherry AK, fucking blue dream. Nobody said gelato. Nobody said runts. Nobody said Skittles. Nobody said the shit that like is out there because they're just smoking it all the time, right? Like if you're smoking the same shit all the time, and like that's not me trying to throw shade on like the fact that like that's where our market is, but like we can all recognize and see that like every flower brand in the state is growing like the same shit, right? Like so that's a whole nother thing. And most of these cats don't even grow their own shit. So it's growers that went way too big and are now supplying multiple brands with the same exact fucking harvest batches where it's like, oh, I can take 20, I got 100 of this strain. Cool, I'll take 20 of those. Cool, I'll take 40. Cool, I'll take 10. Cool, I'll take 10. How many brands was that, dog? You got 4 or 5 different brands with the same exact batch, the same exact strain that the same grower grew. What's the value in that? You know, like when we're talking retailers, like who do you work with, dog? Like who are these brands that you work with? What's like, other than the story, like what do you even, you're selling the same shit. So when you looked at, the reason I brought that up, when you look up stats and you're like, how does it break down? And when you start looking at strains, because that's been something we've been talking a lot about internally is like, what strains do we want to release into the market? And it's like, we want to be consumer-led strains, not industry-led, because like the industry will feed you and shove down your throat what it wants. You know what I mean? And that's going to be based on a few different factors. But right now, what's generating the revenue for cannabis businesses, like growers specifically, is the fucking black market, right? Like that's just what it is. Like, so what do they want? That's the same way it was years ago. And it's like everybody in Humboldt was growing sours and OGs. That's all you could fucking get up there. But locally, I wasn't getting that shit. You know what I'm saying? In SAC, I wasn't getting that shit. Everybody in LA was still popping like in their industrial shit, but we were fucking all cookies. You know what I mean? Like that's all that we could get is different cookie strains. So, and now we got gelatos and all that shit. But anyways, that's like my goal is to really like identify what it is that people want. And I think that because of the different flavors or product types that we have with like tinctures, fuck dude, tincture and FSO are my most loyal consumer because they they don't want to go, like they found something they like, they found something strain specific, and now that's going to feed into the carts. You want to vape, you want to try a vape, you want to experience cannabis. Well, you already fucked with the tincture or the FSO, and now you're like bought into the brand. So that was something else too. I told the team, I'm like, carts are hella saturated. That's like the most saturated fucking thing. So that was the thing I was gonna say about concentrates. You're talking second to third worst in how much revenue is generated, but the second most brands competing for that market share. So you have the second highest amount of brands. So it's like,
damn,
we didn't even, when I dropped the rebrand, we won mad awards, live resin sauces, all that shit. And to not have sauce now is crazy as fuck, but it's like it's not even an issue of like competing, other than the fact that there's so many brands that stores are also purchasing like all the shit. That's the issue, is like there's an oversupply. Well, fuck, why is the store buying all the supply that exists in the market? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just buying shit because it was a good deal, or you think now that I can make higher margin on this product because the quality is dope. But it's like, if nobody knows that brand, if you're not pushing that brand, your staff ain't pushing that brand, now you just have another option on the shelf that has no fucking brand value or no brand loyalty. Like, if that shit doesn't sell through, what's the point of buying it? And that's my whole thing with our stores, is like, I'm not trying to sell you shit for the sake of selling it. Like, I want to sell you shit that your customers want and they're going to come back for. And that's what you're getting with us, and why we're like really pushing again to be not as much in the store, but in the community, right? At your fucking favorite pizza shop, at your favorite donut shop, at your favorite smoke shop. Come meet us. Come meet fucking David from Burford. Come meet fucking Casa Flor, Trudy, the mom, Lou, Sal, like her sons, the sister, Sophie, who like, it's a family business, bro. Like, come meet this family business. These guys have been growing for 100 years in Sacramento, been breeding for that long too. They were growing in fucking Mexico. Like, come meet some real motherfuckers that this is what they've been doing. You know what I mean? Like, this is their fucking family legacy. Like, that's the type of shit we want to do. So when I collaborate with Casa Flor, that's family at this point. Like, we hella fuck with them. We went 2 years now in a row buying like the whole crop because all the strains are like super unique. And up until this past year, they had grown from different seeds. So we're out there smelling thousands of plants, trying to identify like what phenos go with what. So when we extract them, I got a yellow tag, I got a regular tag, and I got a no name tag. And those are the 3 different pheno, flavor wise, aroma wise, that we're going to pull, so that when we extract that shit, it's all consistent. And we're taking flavor notes of like, what's this, what's this, what's that. So that's dope. But to talk about like other markets, that's the value that we would look to bring into other markets, is like, let's bring in these unique genetics. Let's identify and create this like process of like throwing events all the time. Like, instead of demos, fuck bro, we used to do, our team goes to like, in a week, each person goes to like 50 stores. So like, if we got 3 people hitting 150 shops in a week, just to pop in, say what's up, talk to the staff. Hey, how's inventory looking? Is the price right? Fucking all that shit. Like, that's real game, bro. Like, to be a brand in this space, like, that's what we got to do. And then you got to get the sale. But like, that's how we, like, everything I'm talking about is like based on what we see, our team sees in the field, and like just what the market actually is. And like, I had a store be like, when are you going to drop concentrates? I'm like, bro, you have 8 different strains of my concentrates from fucking 3-4 months ago on the shelf still. Why are you asking me if I got more concentrates? Like, bro, you don't even need them. Like, but that's the mindset. And that's like what I'm trying to, I guess, like portray, is like what oversupply does is crazy. Cause like, if we're just weed guys that want to buy weed, and you're in a buyer chair, you know what I'm saying? Like, and somebody brings you some shit that you're like, this is dope, or this is a good price, or whatever. And every brand promises XYZ, but then doesn't deliver. Like, at what point have you created this monster of like 40 different options on the concentrate shelf, but only 3% of your customers actually buy concentrates? You know what I mean? How does that make sense? So I don't know, dude. I could like talk about the retail brand, that whole thing. I don't know how interesting that shit actually is, but like, at the end of the day, that's why we've made the adjustment that we've made, and like why we're operating the way that we are. And a big piece of like what the rebrand was meant to do is like make a difference and just actually do the shit that other people maybe talk about doing. Like, we've been doing it. So it's like, our old brand was like a product focused brand. We hella educated. I was the one still going to stores, making the initial sales, or going back to make reorders, or fucking even calling these cats, right? Like, I had 1 month where I was the only salesperson, bro. I did $750,000 in sales for my fucking couch of like wholesale product to stores statewide. You know what I mean? Like, so I know like what we know, like what the landscape is enough to be like, fuck, I can't even keep up with all the new brands. So like, when some OG shit comes out that I'm like, how do I not even know what that is? It's like, I'm so focused on what the fuck we're just trying to do to like move with, fucking catch those waves, bro. Like, they're not everywhere, they're barely anywhere, and there's no big waves. You know what I mean? Like, and at this point,
too many motherfuckers in the ocean,
dude.
Drowning the shit out.
Too many fucking stores, too many everything, bro. but not enough customers. So you got all these things where it's like too much, too much, too much. Not
Keep
enough of the
too
one
damn
thing.
much. Everybody's gonna quit smoking next. They'd be like, no, I switched it up.
No, I do mushrooms now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the next conversation.
Microdose.
You hear a lot of brands pivoting. I have a question.
Yep.
Favorite strain you've ever extracted as a pen that you were like, this is the one. This is
That's a hell of a good
because you've
question.
done so many different strains,
Bro, and I tried all of them.
I know.
Right? So like this year, I would say some of the like standouts.
No, period.
I
Okay, give me the
know.
standouts,
I'll
but
give
I
you
want
a couple of standouts, but like we got this Huckleberry from Casa that was like ridiculous. That was like a Z terp. This Chapo was like super OG, which that's like these are initial names. Like the Chapo is an initial name that it's like, oh, we don't know if we want to keep that name. But at the end of the day, that was like super OG, gassy. And then what are some of the other ones from this year that were just insane? That Huckleberry was ridiculous. Mangonada. The Mangonada is amazing. The Limonada, or the Lima Limon, I think is what they're going to call it. But all time, the Doug's Diesel was a strain that we won back in the day with. Like that was a strain that Chaz was growing. And we had a greenhouse grower that had grew that shit out, and we extracted it live. That was insane. That was a Doug's Diesel, which is a Rascal OG times New York City Diesel. Shit was gas. But weird, it was like you would think it was super gas, but it's like hella fruity with this like gas terp on it. And I've tried so many fucking carts, bro. And just even recently trying David's new shit, that P41 was fucking ridiculous. I'm
excited to see like Surebanger, like Permanent Marker,
So you talk about some of the collabs you've done, because you've done some pretty dope collabs. I know you've talked about a few on here, but
yeah, we've collaborated with a ton of people. Connected Alien Labs was like from the jump. Terp Hogs, that was a really dope one. Working with like John, I was working a lot with John Doe. If you all know John, he's cool as fuck. And we did a collab with Wonder Brett. Did a collab with Ball Family Farms. That was super dope. Fucking with Chris. And bro, we've done so many fucking collabs. I can't even think right now. Dude, this whole past year was like rebrand. No collabs. The new shit coming up will be Casa Flor will drop first. That's all live. And then we've got some cured flavors dropping with Preferred. And then we've got some Turtle Pie. And then after that, we should have a super dope drop with Smokers Club. We've been talking with Heisman. We're probably going to drop a collaboration with Heisman, which would be super dope. And then other than that, like we'll definitely have like some Green Dog, Blueprint. Drew's right there. We work with Drew in Sacramento a lot too. So
you talking about Heisenberg?
Yeah, shout out to the BTY.
Right?
BTY.
Oh, if you do that, you got to do the Fresa. That one would be fire as live.
You know Heisenberg?
My boy Billy was telling me about. I've never met him, but the BTY.
Good dude.
Well, shit, man, you're a part of the family now. We'll see you at the next family reunion. You guys kick off that collab, because the Fresa would be fire.
Yeah.
Right?
I fuck with it. Real strawberry terps.
Hell yeah.
And it's like flavors like that, right? We'll be able to get that in live resin form.
Yeah.
That's attainable, right?
That would be
it's
insane.
Like, yeah.
If it's strawberry terps, then
it really is, even in flower.
That would be fucking amazing.
Phenomenal.
I got you, Heisenberg.
Yeah. He's the homie. Yeah. But again, like even with Preferred, some of the flavors he's dropping.
That's a lot of dope shit coming up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dope shit. And like, there's a lot more that we'll be working on. It's just like right now with where we're at, it's like if the events aren't popping, then those collabs won't matter. Right. And that's the thing. Like, not to say that they won't, but unfortunately, that's where we're at as like an industry right now. And as where the market is.
That's why you see a lot of the homies, having to go other places and do their pop-ups and shit, and just, even if they're just smoking with people and hanging out with music or whatever, it's like a time for them to try out the product or talk about the product and, get to connect. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's just what people are having to do right now.
That's like any big business, though. Like you see, like
it's like if you're in like big alcohol or big any of that, like they do it all around. That
shit's been branding for fucking years.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
it
like
just shows you how
generational
what it takes,
branding.
Though.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, and their methods of branding were way different. But now I think it's like for cannabis, it's definitely be in the fucking streets, right? Just be out there. build the brand,
touch the community,
bring the community together. Even that's our biggest thing is like I said, come fuck around at your favorite pizza shop or maybe coffee shop, but you never been there maybe, you know what I mean? You brought a couple friends and now they got new customers coming to their door that we're trying to also work with. Like when we talk about brands we're working with on cannabis, like we want to work with the right brands there. But even when you look at any collaborations or anything that we do with like the community, we want to work with the right people there too. So that it's like extremely impactful. And like, I mean, fuck, I know like where I'm from in Sacramento, like there's a lot of restaurants that I'm like, I would want to do shit here. Or this is the smoke shop I used to buy my fucking butane from when I was open blasting. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do some shit there. It'd just be dope to bring that full circle. But yeah, man, it's crazy what the market is today and like where it came from to where it is. But I think that we're making the right moves and the people that belong to be here. And that's just not people like at this point, you're not entitled and you don't like deserve to be here just because you've been here. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to get with the shit. Like you got to pick your pants up and you got to make those same runs. You know what I mean? Like, and for us, like we lead from the front. So like when it comes time to like make shit happen, like I'm a pull up, you know what I mean? Like that's what we need to do. My partner will pull up. Like we're a team, we work together. I mean, that's like small business vibes and like family vibes of like people that we've been working with forever that have been on our team from like for a long time. Or we got a dope ass team. Like shout out to the Friendly Squad, motherfuckers that's been there from the jump. Like when we were packaging our first cartridges up in like a little trap spot in downtown Sac, like we still have people on our team from the first time we dropped carts. So it's, yeah, like I said, you're not entitled to be here. If you don't get with the shit and you don't get with the program and like really try to make it happen, like you will fucking fall off. And like, I don't want to see that happen to people, but it's like when we talk about what can you do, this is the shit that you can do and what you got to do. Like it's not enough to just make dope product anymore. Like there's way too much other shit out there. And to be real, like the everyday customer, I don't think cares enough. And that's why we have to do this, is to like care about what you're consuming. Like it's just like anything else. Like you guys, we're all more, I think, I mean, fuck, every restaurant menu now will say if it's grass fed or fucking where the shit was raised even, or like whatever, right? If the fruit's organic, like they're promoting that shit because customers want to know. But yeah, man, that's where we're at in cannabis, dog. Like
if I land in Cali and I want to try Friendly Farms, where am I going?
You fly into LA, like
SF?
We work with the Catalyst shop. So every Catalyst store has us. It's like a real fair price for the people. As their whole thing is like weed for the people. So really fuck with them. Been working with them for years. True partnership that we have with those cats. If you're in NorCal, if you're in Sacramento, gotta fuck with Main Stage. Gotta fuck with 1841, like cats that's been fucking with us from the jump. Like Main Stage, that buyer, if y'all know Caleb, yeah. So Caleb is a G. Like he was at North Star prior to that. That was like one of our bigger shops, like pre-legalization, when we were like just starting events to the stores. But that's where I met him, was at North Star in downtown Sac. But yeah, you go to Sac, Main Stage. Shout out Caleb though, and then try to think the Bay, dude. We were talking earlier, and it's like it is hella sad because like the city is like so dead since COVID hit. Like downtown areas across the state, I feel like just didn't hella recover. Like in downtown LA, like Litco was one of the cats we were working with before, and like everybody just lost mad traffic. Like nobody's going to work downtown anymore. And I think now we all work more remote or have the access to work remote. So yeah, I can't even think in the city right now. That's fucked up that I can't even think that.
What'd you say for LA?
LA, well, Catalyst is opening a new shop in Mid-City.
They're in the OC primarily, yeah? Or?
They're in OC, yeah. They're in OC, yeah. They're opening
14 or 16 stores.
They're opening a lot more shops. Yeah, their main stores, and Pomona is like one of their bigger stores now. So yeah, that's been another focus of ours. Like I said too, like there's a lot of bad actors in retail. So the chains, the people that are like expanding generally like are doing well, right? So like they're the ones on top of their shit. So, and that makes it easier for like a small business like us to work with those people. And like we just doing a drop in Cornerstone soon. That spot is like a little small, like they were doing like window pickups during COVID, which was super dope. But we want to work with like small mom and pop shops, but unfortunately, like a lot of those different shops are the ones that like have trouble with seeing enough business to keep up with bills. Like it's a fucked up market, dude. And like you want to support these guys, but then you're like, fuck, if you can't pay, then I can't fucking keep this shit afloat. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a crazy market out there, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Keep reinventing, keep pushing it, collabs, working with other good people, you know, and loving what you do.
Collabs and partnership. That's all. We've always been about collabs, and now it's like collaborating, but also creating partnerships with all different types of cats. You know what I mean? Like the cannabis, our culture, like the pioneers of our industry, like working with them still, keeping that shit tight so that we can, in our efforts to get more and reach the community and like bring new consumers into the space and educate them on like what we've been knowing about for fucking years. You know what I mean? Like what, for me, 14 years now, I've been smoking, like I'm smoking Odyssey or Bubba or Northern Lights or Blue Dream or fucking the Platinum, GDP, like all this shit that we know that like doesn't even exist now. Or like when Green Ribbon came out, or fucking Barry White, or fucking whatever the old school shit was, you know? We want to be able to like pull from all those different age or time, all those different like times that we were experiencing, like all those different drops. Like we want to be able to bring that to the new age consumer. So that's something I'm passionate about. And I think that like doing this outreach to the consumers, it's like there's more of a story there than like what's the newest shit that everybody's just growing, or not even the newest shit. This shit's just been floating around for like 5-10 years. You know what I mean? So
I like how you're, including the community on the packaging and stuff like that, different pictures, different stuff of like people that have actually, participated with the brand and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like cool. This girl here for Jet Fuel Gelato, like this is my son's aunt, one of her friends. She was like, yo, this is my friend. Like, what do you think of this image for Jet Fuel Gelato? And I'm like, that's fucking lit. She's like flipping on the camera, but it's just like, it's fun. Like it's human. It's the everyday interaction with the plant, right? Like how we consume, like the human experience. Like cats wake up in the morning and hit their alarm and hit the pen, or fucking roll up, or fucking have to smoke before they eat breakfast, or have to smoke after they eat breakfast, or have to smoke before they get to work, or have to smoke after they get home from work or on their lunch break, or fucking, if you're in the weed game, then we get to smoke during work. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, how do people interact with cannabis on the day to day? And how can we like show that human element on the packaging? Because I think, nobody else has done that yet, right? Like our whole shit of like putting people on there, and then on the image of the back, that's the farm that was actually cultivated, right? So the farm that cultivated the shit in the package is right here. It was a family farm from Sac County. So like no brand, just like small business cultivating group that cultivates, and an image of them on the back, and an image of like the would-be consumer, essentially, that represents that strain. So on our packaging, the strain is represented by the person on the front, the farm on the back. Our stickers are cured or live resin, and then the collabs have unique packaging to themselves. It's not like a picture of a person. Like I can't wait for y'all to see the when the Smokers Club collab box comes. That shit's gonna be a piece of art. The Preferred Gardens box goes crazy. The fucking turtle, the boxes are stupid. So the packaging is fucking ill too,
Oh yeah, shout out to that boy Turtle, man.
Yeah,
My dog Turtle.
Great episode.
Hell yeah.
That was fun.
Nah, it's dope.
Yeah,
Dave, Preferred, everybody, man.
Yeah.
Those are dope collabs, and we'll be looking forward to that shit.
Mhm.
Where can everybody find you guys at?
On IG?
Yeah, like online.
So online, you can find us at Friendly Brand CA. Website's friendlybrandusa.com. But fuck, really, in person, like you'll see us come into like whatever city around you guys, like throughout the state. So that'll be on our Instagrams. We're always showcasing that. We'll have recap videos of the different events that we do. And then from that, like all that local business thing is one thing, but like getting people together in like a private session to where you can come like try new collaborations is a whole thing that I want to get into also. So it's like come experience that collab and come like actually try it, as opposed to like if I drop it in a store, we'll have an event there. But get it pre-release. You know what I mean? Like come fuck with the brands pre-release, and maybe like select amount of people we'll invite or whatever. But just building that community, man, so that when we do shit, people know about it. Because social media, like Instagram, really like took a shit on us as like cannabis businesses, right? Like cats will fucking bust their ass building their page. We had like 50,000 followers, consumers that really fucked with us. You know what I mean? Like we spent $1 million in a year at High Times and all that shit, like 2017 to 2018. And that's how we built our whole brand, was like being like having those booths, like giving out dabs of like fire ass live resin shit, like where other people are giving out like amber shatter fucking dabs, you know what I mean, on parchment. Like I'm cracking seals on fucking grams, you know what I mean, of like award-winning fucking connected terps. Bless. So it's like, I don't know, bro, like it's crazy that it took losing that to be like, all right, we got to really like work another angle. And so that's kind of like another piece of where the rebrand hit, was like, we need to get way more active if we want to like build that hype and that buzz for a product that doesn't really have that naturally, you know?
Like one of the only things I'm looking forward to with federal legalization, they can get off Instagram backs. Hopefully we'll be able to actually use it as a business then if that happens, but we'll see if that even happens. But yeah, I feel you on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Connecting to your following and being able to show where you're going to be and what you're dropping and all, it's essential these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's that whole Friends with Benefits program. Like cats are just signing up to that, and now they're a part of the community via like just regular outreach. So we'll let them know if things happen with social. I think like we need to just start a Telegram, because that's something that won't go away. And it's a way that we can just connect with people. They can see what's going on. I mean, I think like, especially when you go to like that global or nationwide, you know, building the brand just outside of having a cannabis product in different states, just going into different states and like fucking with the community and like building those networks. Like we're ready to go into some other states. Like I know dope growers in different states that, you know, are ready to get fed the right genetics, that are ready to grow some shit that we hand them. And like, so that'll be the way that we move, we navigate, you know. We'll work with the local community just like we did in California. Just because we're here, like we're not scared to go out and shake hands and like see what's good. Like fuck, dude, I was in Mass and I'm seeing fire on the shelves, like, and strains that we don't have out here. So it's like every market has its own, like, I mean, Doja showcases that shit, right? Like that's a big thing. Like every market has their own like origins of different strains that came from wherever, you know what I mean? So it's hella interesting, and I'm excited for us to like get into some of these new markets and see what that local shit is about, and then bring that shit to Cali too. But we won't go to other states on some, like, we haven't really like looked at going to states in a licensing capacity, because like I'm too much of a control freak to just be like, oh yeah, fucking whatever you make, let me just come smoke that shit. Like I want to source that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to touch that. I want to get my energy on that motherfucker before we extract it. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of way that we connect to the plant, and that's why like that experience with the brand is as friendly as it is. You know what I mean? So
thorough all the way through, man.
Yeah.
It's dope as hell. Friendly Brands, my man Darren.
Get you a live resin pen.
Here, go get that. LA.
Oh yeah, this is the new disposable. We haven't even dropped this shit yet. The bags came a little short, so we had to reprint those motherfuckers out. But the disposable is dope. I know there's like, we didn't do a disposable for years because it's one of those things where it's like we don't want to contribute to like, that's not sustainable product, right? Like you gotta get rid of it. But we do want to control the user experience, and so this is kind of like step one to getting towards like a pod system, so that we can have something that is a controlled experience for the consumer, because 510s are great, but a lot of batteries burn hot. So consumers don't understand that. They're fucking hitting our shit at like 4 volts or 4.5 or 3.7 or whatever it is. And they're burning the terps, and they're not really experiencing that strain. So when we have people be like, oh, I didn't like your shit, it's like, what kind of battery you have? Honestly, dog, like every DM that I get of like a consumer being like, oh, it tastes burnt, I'm like, word, send me a picture of your battery. You know what I mean? Like that's always what it is. So yeah, that's
get
crazy,
your song,
right?
man.
Get your song.
I was waiting. We're gonna dose up Pat God's dinner.
On off the mic.
Bring it over here. Yeah,
get on that off the mic if you ain't on that off the mic, man. And you'll be seeing these disposables soon.
Yeah,
the disposable
dispensary near you, California, friendlybrandsusa.com.
Run it.
Got that right. And go check out my man Darren. For real, you're doing a lot in the game, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate
we
you,
really
bro.
appreciate you pulling up on us.
No, most stuff. Thank you for having us, bro.
We'll have to do more. And, you know, welcome to the family, big dog.
Most stuff.
You already know, man. It's first smoke of the day. We're out. Peace.